Alright guys, this is gonna be a quick video. Right now I am redoing my piston rings because the machine shop failed to do that job. So I took them out. I just dropped my oil pan. As you can see my my crank right there, but I dropped my oil pan. Pretty much unbolt my rod caps, which are over here. Got my rod caps here, all of them. I made sure I put them in order, and I just popped it up, shoved them up, took them out, took out the old piston rings, which is this one. This one was cylinder 1, and to realize when I put it in, I'll put it in like that. Okay. Put it in like that. I get a piston. I put it inside, just like that. Okay, take it out. Once I do that, I measure my gap. Okay, you see this gap? That gap is at least 0.09 inches, way below recommended or OEM spec for a piston ring gap. So that just told me they didn't do anything regards to filing down my piston ring for, you know, what I'm going with. So the issues I was having pretty much had zero blow by. As you can see, I wasn't running a catch can for a few reasons. So that right there with the mist of oil splashing out instead of blow by, I had zero blow by, like, at all. So all I was doing was spitting out oil, you know, at time to time, full throttle, anything like that. And still no blow by, so that was kind of strange to me. So after I did a pull, I lost compression in cylinder 2, and number 1 was on its way as well. So number 1 was 140 and 2 was 60. So right then and there I knew something was up. Took my head off. After I took my head off, I checked to make sure all my valves were good. They were good, but then it turns out the piston rings were basically touching each other and bulking up and leaving this gap. So that's why I'm here. I got a JE piston ring set, and while I'm at it, I got some ARP head studs, which I'm going to install as well, because it's just a waste having to, you know, keep buying OEM head bolts. So, but yeah, the way I'm gonna gap these rings is I am going to put them into my cylinder, and I have a feeler gauge. So I use this feeler gauge to measure the gap of where I want my piston rings to be set at. As you can see, this is 0.09 inches. I'm gonna put it right in there. So that's a very tight gap right there. So it barely goes in, to be honest with you, but it fits in. It's very tight. I'm gonna pull it out now. Okay, so that's at least 8 or 9, and that's just ridiculously low. That's not a I'm just surprised. Like, so the way I got my piston rings, I went by this chart, and for my application, I'm basically street moderate turbo. So I'm gonna get my bore size, which is 83 millimeter times 0.050, and I'm gonna get my number. OEM gap is around 0.014 basically. So I just open that up a little bit bigger. I don't mind a little bit of blow by, and I'm just, you know, don't want it to be that small of a gap. So to run it safe, I slapped mines to 0.018 for the top, and for the second ring I put it at basically 4 over, so it's around 22 since the top is 18, and the O-rings are basically 0.16 and up. So it asks for a minimum of 0.015. I just have it at 16 and up for every single one of them. So the way I got them, I just use this ring filer right here. It's the most accurate. You can use an angle grinder if you're nice, but if you don't trust yourself that much, just use this right here. It's pretty cheap, but the way I did it, I only filed one side, which is the left side. I made sure it was facing up. So the number, let's see, where is the number? It's a number on here. Okay, it's this side. So it's gonna be a number right here. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. It's a few numbers. So that's the side you're gonna have facing up. So I put it on just like this. Made sure it's rest up against the pins, the 2 pins. Filing only one side, and I'm basically going one way. I'm gonna file it facing my way, counterclockwise towards me. You don't want to file it two separate ways. That's gonna create some problems. So I'll just file it towards me. There's multiple reasons why you want to do that, because this is going up and down inside your cylinder. You don't want to file it any crazy amount of weight, any crazy way. So I just file it one side. I do like 5 to 10 increments, or 5 to 10. I do 5 to 10 rotations towards me. I'll put it back in there. Put it back in there just like that. I get my feeler gauge, and I feel out where I'm at. It can go slow. You gotta have a lot of patience. Honestly, it goes by really slow. This can take a little time, but to speed up the process, instead of doing 5 to 10 increments, do 15. I do 15, honestly, or count to 15 seconds while I'm turning it and filing it down. That's what I do, to be honest, and I mean it does well for me. So I have every single one of my rings gapped to where I want it to be. So it looks like that. Every single one of them, 1 to 4. So I got my top at 18, second at 22, and I measured my top and bottom oil rings, and that's where it was pretty much around 19, 20, 16, basically 16 to 20. So I didn't gap them. I didn't have to gap them because that's how they came. I didn't have to file them down, but so that's good. The rings go on the pistons a certain way. These are my old rings and the oil separator. So basically a few rings are gonna come inside the pack. 5 rings for each piston. It's gonna be smalls. There's a difference in rings, so I'll show you. So the very skinny and fine piston ring, okay, is gonna be your oil for your O-rings. They're very skinny, and there's gonna be a thick ring, and it's gonna be for your top or your bottom. They're pretty much the same size. One is darker than the other, and one is chrome. So each one goes at the top or bottom, and the skinny one goes at the bottom for the oil. So it's like this. The oil rings, the skinny one goes at the bottom and sandwich in between this oil separator right here, and then the top, the other top skinny one goes on there. second ring gap, and then top ring gap goes right here. And they have to be clocked a certain way. You can't just slap them on like that. They go on a certain way. You have to clock them 180 degrees apart from each other. The gaps, you're gonna see the gaps just like that. They have to be clocked 180 degrees from each other. So I'm gonna mark them, and that'll make it easier to see where my gaps are when I put them in. So I'm aiming to put them in, drop them in, clean up the surface of my block, wipe down all my areas, make sure everything is clean. And after that, I'm gonna use this ring compressor and compress them inside my cylinder block and tighten them up and install my ARP head studs. I'm tired of buying OEM head bolts, so I just went and bought this one-time use and be done with it. Put the head back on, put the turbo back on, and start it up and see how that performs. So y'all gonna see all that. Sorry for not posting, but this is my update so far. Nothing crazy. I'm gonna get it done. So y'all gonna see how I install my pistons inside my block. I'll see y'all then.